Well, hello, my real estate friends, YouTube family, everybody out there. I hope you're having the best day and all the blessings are just coming to you and business is thriving. Sending you all wonderful good vibes. My name is Melissa. I am so glad you are here. This is going to be a super fun, little unique kind of deal, little mini series, I guess you could say. This video is specific to the buyer side of contract to close and what that process looks like. I'm going to share with you systems and things that I use in my business that maybe you can pick up a few nuggets. Look, if you've got a system in place that works for you, I always say if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? But you might be able to pick up a few nuggets. I've been in this business a little while. You maybe have been in the business as long as me, or not, whichever way. And you might maybe there's something that I can share with you today that you'll say, you know what? I might start using that idea. But look, this is just what I do. And so I'm sharing it with you. So I'm really excited to get in it. The next one we'll flip the role and we will do the seller side contract to close and what that looks like. But really, it's not even just about me and my systems to help me stay organized, but it's mostly to keep my buyer and my seller on track, right? And to make sure that they understand where they're at in the buying process and what that looks like without like super overwhelming them. So I'm really excited to get in it. I'm going to go ahead and get my screen shared with you, and we're just going to get rocking and rolling. So if you have, if you're excited to learn about, working with your buyers and what to do, contract to closing, definitely give the video a like. I would greatly appreciate it. So let me tell you this really quick. So side note, I'm a digital person. I have my own little system that I use on the digital world to keep myself organized for my clients. But I do want to share this with you. So they sell these folders, and I don't know if you can tell on the screen, but they're colorful, but they're nice and thick, and they're thick and they're like plasticky. But anyway, I get these at the Dollar General. I don't know. I think they're like $1, maybe $2, but they're really good quality. They're thick and plastic. And what I do is I'll get many different colors. Okay. So if I am working, let's just say I'm working, I don't know, 5, 6 clients at a time, everybody's getting their own color, right? And everything that I have for that client, I keep this folder with me at all times for them, right? And so I'll put their little name and a Sharpie up here and any kind of documents that I have, notes that I have throughout their whole buying process, I keep with it. I do it for sellers as well. But in any case, like if I'm going and showing homes to them, right? You know how we'll prepare like MLS sheets or something like that, to where we give them a copy. I'll print myself a copy, an agent view copy, right? And I'll make notes on that MLS sheet as to what they liked about the house, what they didn't like, all the things, right? And I keep it in their folder, and I keep this folder forever. Like I don't really get rid of them. I think I still have all my clients' folders, if I'm being honest. And, it's just one kind of way that I stay organized at closing these signed settlement statement that we receive, right? That now we don't really have to turn into our broker. We just take a picture and send it over to them. I keep the signed copy in my client's folder. So when year end rolls around, all I have to do is pop a copy over to my clients to make sure they go file their homestead exemption, right? And then I keep this on my desk. I keep my folders on my desk. Once they're closed, they go in the little file cabinet here on my desk. And then at the end of the year, I move whatever files that I have out to my big filing cabinet in the closet. Anyway, I just wanted to share this with you because I don't know if I'm a digital person, I get it, right? But there's some documents, a few that we need to keep. And so I just think that having those are really cool. So what we're going to talk about today is actually we're going to run through this template that is one of Etsy's best sellers. It's a template that I sell in my Etsy shop. The reviews on this thing are amazing. Like the agents love it, and their clients love it, and all the things, that I am super proud of it. But essentially it's just a done for you text templates that you just plug and play the information and text it out to your client. And man, you look like a freaking rock star that you are. All right. So that's what we're going to run through today. And so yeah, let's go ahead and jump in it. So here's the deal, right? there's 8 steps to home. All right. And I'm having to zoom in a little bit because these templates are sized to fit a smartphone. So literally you come in here, add your little details, add your little information, your little picture, all the things. And then you come up here to share and then you just download it, save it as a picture, right? And then you text that picture to your client. It's so cool, right? So cool. So anywho, here's what we're talking about today. So number one, your client has 8 steps to buy a house, right? Number one, they're going to set goals and find you as a real estate agent. Yeah, they're finding you. And then you're going to follow in our lawsuit settlement new laws and you're going to get that buyer agreement signed. Yeah, so they know what they're paying you and you know what you're receiving, right? Go ahead and get it done. They're going to prepare finances, make sure they got some money in the bank, right? Once they check that box, then they're going to go on to talk to a lender. And 2 and 3 can flip flop, but in any case, they're going to talk to a lender. They're going to get that final little mini stamp of approval, right? And get your lender and get their lender kind of set up and look at some different options there. Then you're going to go home shopping. You're going to go out there, go show them some houses, do all the things. And then Bob and Sue are going to say, oh my goodness, we just love this house over here on 123 Smith Street. We love it so much. We want to put an offer in on it. And I'm going to stop right there because I got a little tidbit of information I want to share with you. When I have a buyer that is truly interested in a house, so much so that I think that they're going to put an offer in on it, the first thing I do is I pull the address, get the MLS data over to their lender, whoever gave them the pre-approval, and I say, look, I need a good faith estimate on this house for these buyers, right? I need to know what that tax is going to look like, what that insurance is going to look like. I need to make sure that you have my commission figured in there. Let's just say I called that listing agent and that listing agent said, yeah, seller's willing to pay 2% and buyer's agent fee. Great, right? But my agreement with my buyer is at 3%. I'm going to let that lender know. I need you to put my other 1% in commission in that good faith estimate, right? Put in, what I think I might can get the seller to pay in closing costs, just preliminary. The biggest kicker, though, honestly, is taxes and insurance. So I'll have the lender go and do that. And then I will send that I'll have the lender do that, send it to me, and then I will send it over to my buyer, Jan and Bob, right? And I'll say, Jan and Bob, I know you're really interested in 123 Smith Street, and you're really thinking about putting an offer in on it. One little final thing that I want to share with you, just to make sure that you guys consider the numbers that go with this awesome house, right? Before really committing to this big decision. And I'll send that over to them. All right. And I let them think about it. I let them marinate because listen, here's the deal. As real estate agents, we wear a lot of hats. There's a lot of moving parts, right? And right now in our real estate market, agents are not getting the best raps right now, right? Homeowners insurance and specifically insurance and taxes are going through the roof. Not to anybody's fault, but whatever it is, what it is. And it's automatically the agent's fault in most cases. My agent sold me this house. She told me, she told me I should just buy it. It was a great investment. Now I can't afford it. My mortgage has gone up $400 or $500 a month and this, that, and the third. And a majority of those buyers, I'm going to tell you now, if you're selling new construction homes, they're getting a tax quote at land, at dirt, right? Because there's nobody ever lived in that home before. It's our job as real estate professionals and really the lender, but scratch that. Let your buyer know, hey, look, this is a new construction home. Taxes have not really been assessed yet, right? And until you close on it, until it gets recorded down at the courthouse that somebody's actually living in it, taxes won't be assessed until next year. So you can go ahead and bank on your mortgage probably going up, I don't know, $300-$500, whatever it looks like for your area, right? And you can usually go outside of that new construction subdivision, look at other homes in that area around that similar price point, and look at their tax records. What are they paying every year in taxes? That's about what your client can expect to pay. And, because the lender's going to close it at whatever the builder has, and that's going to be nothing. Okay, so just a little side note there. In any case, I'm going to get that good faith estimate from the lender. I'm sending it to Bob and Sue to review it. If Bob and Sue are looking at a new construction home, I will let them know at that point in time. Bob and Sue, now listen, that good faith estimate is based off the builder's taxes because this home has never been lived in. But you can guesstimate next year when escrows recalculate, you're probably going to be looking at an additional $400 or $500 a month. All right. I just want to make sure you feel good with those numbers. I know you love the house, right? But you need to love the house and the numbers that go with it. And you are doing your job. Okay. And being an expert agent. Listen, these buyers and sellers, these are worth this one client is worth 5 future referrals. You want to do a jam up job for them. They're going to refer you. These little extra things is what will help you stand out and be that awesome agent that you are. Right. So Jan and Bob sleep on it. They call you the next day. They're like, you know what, Melissa, thank you. We reviewed the good faith estimate. We love the home. We're good with the numbers, and again, that good faith estimate showing them the cash to bring the close, including whatever you think you might not get negotiated for your buyer's agent commission. Okay. All the money they need to bring the close, what that payment looks like, insurance, taxes, PMI, all the things, right? They're going to call you and they're going to say, I love it. It looks good. We feel good about it. Let's put our offer in. And I'm going to tell you, you 95% to the goal at that point, right? Because there's no more hurdles really, right? And then the flip side is they're going to call you and say, you know what, Melissa, we thought about it and we're just decided that it's just going to be a little bit too much for us. So, we're just going to keep looking. That's okay. You just saved yourself a bunch of time. Because if they didn't find out about the money financial part of it from you, they're going to find out about it when they get closer to closing. And now you've done all this stuff and been this whole process. And your buyers are kind of weary and it's just not a good thing, right? You want your buyers to feel super confident. So that's that. I've had one time have I had a client back out at closing in my entire career. One time. That's a story for another day. But anyway, I just don't do it. I don't have time for it. I'm not going around writing up offers and doing all the things. And look, as buyers agents, we don't want to have the reputation of going to listing agents and putting contracts on properties for our buyers to back out during due diligence. We just don't want to do all that, right? But we'll talk about that a little bit later. Anywho, they want to put the offer in. Everybody's happy. Everybody's excited. You submit it. The offer gets accepted. You're under contract. Heck yeah. Right. Sally, the listing agent, calls and says, hey, Melissa, I just sent you over the executed contract. We're excited to get this thing going. We're under contract. Woohoo. That's an exciting day, right? So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about everything from the contract to due diligence, pre-closing, and closing. All right. So here's what you're going to do, right? The minute you get that signed, executed contract in your email, yay, you're going to send that copy of that executed contract to your buyers and to your lender and attorney and all that good stuff, right? To open escrow. That's wonderful. But here's the thing. Our buyers, they're not reading 20-page contract, right? Who wants to read all that crap, right? So what you're going to do as a super awesome rockstar agent that you are, you're going to pull out all the meat and potatoes, all the important nuggets of that 20-page contract, and you're going to put it in this nice, pretty little recap text for them, right? So you're giving them a big congratulations. Congratulations, you are now under contract, and you're giving them the recap of the accepted terms of your contract. What's the contract price? How much is the seller paying in closing costs? What type of financing is it looking like we're getting? How much earnest money do they need to put down? When is that earnest money due? When does their due diligence expire? What's that financing contingency, right? Because there's a financing contingency. Sometimes, in most cases, let's just say it's 15 days or so. But after that finance contingency, if they back out of due diligence just because they don't feel like they like it anymore and they just change their mind, they're not getting their earnest money back, right? The only other way they can get their earnest money after due diligence is if the financing falls apart and the loan gets denied, as long as they're within that finance contingency. If it exceeds the financing contingency, and they back out, right? They're not getting their earnest money back. Okay. So these dates are very important for them to know. And the appraisal contingency, how long does the house have to pass appraisal, before you have to open those negotiations? And what's your projected closing date? And then, of course, anything extra, right? What else did you work in the deal? Did you work in some extra time for the seller to stay in the home after closing? Did you work in some appliances, maybe the drapes, maybe the whatever, patio furniture at the pool, whatever it is, all those little nuggets, little pieces, important pieces, you're putting it in this nice, pretty recap right here, right? And then you're going to text this to them. That's text 1, right? And then right behind text 1 is going to be text 2, and it's going to be what's next, phase 1. And I'm going to tell you now, okay, I have very savvy buyers and sellers who have bought and sold many houses in their life. And they always ask the same type questions that a first-time home buyer or first-time seller will ask, right? So you're just going to show up and kind of go ahead and tell them what's next, right? Because they forget this stuff, right? They're not in it every day. And they'll say, oh yeah, what do we need to do next? What do you need from me at this point? And that kind of thing. So here's the deal. Phase 1, remember over here, we're in due diligence, right? Oops. And so we're going to go due diligence and earnest money payment. This is their focus right now. Okay. This is the only little nugget they need to worry about, right? We know from contract to close, there are many things that happen, but we're not trying to overwhelm our clients, right? We're giving it one little section at a time, and that's it. And it's just baby step, baby step. So this is what they need to focus on. The first phase of our agreement is your due diligence period. This is the time to schedule your home inspection, complete the application with your lender if not done so already, check schools, etc. This is their buyers think about it time, right? You've already done your job and you've given them a good faith estimate pretty close to what you thought you could get the terms accepted at and all of that. Now you can call the lender and say, okay, we got it under contract. Now I need another good faith estimate. We didn't get the 5,000 in closing. We got 10,000 in closing. Now, what do those numbers look like, right? Go ahead and have your lender pull it up for you and send it over. For your buyer, please wire, mail, check, etc. The earnest money payment of $500 to XYZ company, whoever's holding your earnest money, it's in your contract, by whatever date is in your contract. Please send me a copy of the receipt for the earnest money payment. Okay, cool. Because you need a copy of that, right? Because you've got to supply a copy to your broker, really to your broker, right? This is the main thing. Schedule home inspection to be completed by whatever date, right? If you've got a 5-day due diligence, you probably need to have that inspection report back in like 2 days, 3 days, right? So that gives you a couple days to negotiate. Let me know if you'd like a copy of my vendor list for home inspection company references. Now, with this little bundle thing right here that I was telling you about, so all this is included, but you're going to get this bonus template right here, which is a quick, trusted vendor list, right? So you can come in here and we're not supposed to push one particular inspector or one particular lender. So you need to have several references on here. The last thing you want is to push one particular inspector just because you like the guy, right? And then a year later, your buyer's mad at you because their windows are cracking and the windows aren't locking and there's issues, right? And they're going to say, well, Melissa, you told me to call Bob at Bob's Home Inspection. No, you don't want that on your plate, right? We got too much other stuff to deal with. We don't want that. So what you could do, go do your research, read reviews, do all the things, give them a couple options. Here's a couple really good home inspectors. You choose who you want to work with. And I got a separate video about a vendor list because you need to make sure you got a nice vendor list, right? I don't even know if I would say, let me know if you'd like a copy. I'd probably just say, I'm going to email you a copy of my vendor guide or my vendor list, right? I'll leave that vendor video vendor guide video somewhere on this video here. So if you want to check that out, you can definitely do that. As always, if you have any questions, reach out anytime. Cool. Okay, they go to work. They got their checklist. They need to get earnest money paid, send you a copy, schedule their home inspection. And you can send them a vendor list. You can have your lender now create them a more detailed kind of good faith estimate, maybe lock in their interest rate, whatever the rate is, now that you've got an official contract, if rates are looking good, all that, right? So everybody goes and has their little job to do. They go do that. All right, cool. Now we just wait for our invisible time clock to move to due diligence. And when we get through inspections and then we go through that negotiation and get all that done, okay, cool. Fast forward, we've gone through inspections. Everything looks good. Earnest money's been paid. Lender's given the buyer new good faith estimate. Everybody's good, right? So now we go to phase 2. Now we're moving into the appraisal and the escrow phase, because I'm going to tell you now, most attorneys and most lenders will not work a file until after due diligence. They just won't. They're not going to invest the resources, the time, the energy, and the effort, because a lot of contracts fall apart during due diligence, but not yours. Oh no, not yours, because your buyers are confident. They've looked at the numbers. Everybody's on the same page. Everybody's like feeling good about it. You're not pushing them to make decisions they don't want to make, that kind of thing. Yours don't fall apart. So when your attorney gets it or your lender gets it, they know, okay, this is the Melissa deal. This one's going to go, right? So they owe an open escrow. I say that widely, okay, because, some attorneys open it day one. That's great. There's not a lot going on the market today, so there's plenty of time. But there's some that'll wait. All right, so cool. So now what you're going to do is you're going to send a text to your client, right? And you're going to say, awesome, check mark, inspections completed, due diligence is done. We got through that phase. Cool. So now we're going on to phase 2, appraisal and escrow. So what does that mean? The next phase of our agreement is the appraisal and title phase. Appraisal. Your lender will order an appraisal of the home to ensure the home value aligns with the loan amount requested, right? Title and escrow. The closing attorney will open a file for our closing and begin a title search to ensure we have a clear title. Simple as that. Just informing them, letting them know where we are at in the phase of the buying process. Their checklist. The lender will work with you to finalize your loan documents. It is crucial that you help them with their request promptly so that we stay within our financing contingency. I will let you know when the appraisal date and time is scheduled and once we are cleared from appraisal. And then our little imaginary clock moves still, right? So buyer goes to work, getting the lender all the 9 million documents they need, everything that they need. Lender's calling the appraisal, right? Appraiser, getting that ordered. You're being in communication with the listing agent to know when that appraisal is scheduled. And then you inform your buyer client, hey, appraisal is going to be next Wednesday at 2:00. I'll let you know if I hear anything, right? Or once I hear something from the lender. So that's that, right? Appraisal's done. Appraisal came back. It looks beautiful. Everything's within line. Wonderful, right? So we're through appraisal now. So now we're going to go into phase 3, pre-closing. And we'll go through the pre-closing checklist in just a sec. But you're going to come in here and prepare your next text for your clients. Yay, appraisal's completed. What's next? Phase 3, pre-closing. Congratulations, we are in the final phase of your home purchase journey. During this phase, we'll wait for your lender to finalize the loan documents and the attorney to give us a clear to close for our projected closing date. Don't you just love those words, clear to close? Oh my goodness. When I get an email that says clear to close, I'm like, heck yeah, it's so awesome. Okay, I have emailed you a pre-closing checklist to help you prepare for the task to complete during this phase. And so this over here is what you get in that little bundle thing. And that is the pre-closing checklist. And it is here. All right, cool. So this is what you're going to email them. It's just a little PDF. All right. So all you're going to do is pop your little information in here. You're going to come up here to share. You're going to download it. You're going to save it as a PDF. Boom. You're going to email them this one page right here. Just email them this one page. Pre-closing. I mean, there's directions here on how to do it. Okay. If you get the little bundle, you'll see. But in any case, pre-closing checklist. Number 1, this is for your buyers. Ensure you've provided additional paperwork requested by the lender or closing attorney. Closing attorneys sometimes need stuff too from your buyers, right? And they need to know the importance of getting that over to them. Complete your change of address at USPS.com. Call utility companies and arrange for the connection of your utilities. And if the seller will leave any utilities on, you're going to put a date on how long they plan to leave it on after closing. The water company in most cases will require that settlement statement before they'll turn the water on. Okay. Now with this bonus template that you also get a utility list. So you could go in, fill this out, email that over to them with all of their utility contacts, right? So during this pre-closing checklist that you're giving them, you can attach that utility list with it. Okay. Arrange moving plans as needed for moving day. And here's the big part right here. Now is when you want to ask for a review, right? We've found the house. We've gone through inspections. We've gone through appraisals. They've paid their earnest money. They've paid the appraiser. They've paid the inspector. You've been with them holding their hand through the entire process. Escrow's open. Everybody, like, you want to ask for the review now. Don't wait until after closing. Look, clients are busy after closing. They are moving. They don't have time to sit down and write a 5-page review, right? Now is the best time to do this, okay? So go ahead, ask for the review. And in the Canva template here, all you do is you just highlight, leave review here, click on the 3 dots, and then you just go to, link. Okay. And then you just type in or paste the hyperlink of wherever you want your people to leave the review. So if it's on your website, if you've got it set up on Google or Facebook or Zillow or wherever they leave reviews for you, that's the hyperlink of where you would send it. All right, cool. So that's pretty much it on that. All right. So now, let's see. We've gotten through appraisal. Okay, so now we're in, let's see. Yeah. We've already done that. Okay, so now we're in the final phase and it's preparing for closing day, right? And so this is the final text you're going to send them. Clear to close. You just got the email from the lender. We're clear to close. You're going to send them this text. What's next? Final phase. Our closing day. Congratulations. We have a clear to close. Our final walkthrough is scheduled. Blah, blah, blah. Closing day, address, what to bring, photo ID, bank receipt, other documents per your lender request. I have emailed you a closing day overview of what to expect at closing and important reminders of following closing day. As always, if you have any questions, reach out anytime. Okay, cool. So then you look at the closing day. It just really shows like buyer responsibilities, what to bring, but most important is after closing, right? Important, apply for homestead exemption at the local tax office as soon as possible. This can save you thousands of dollars in the future. Retain all closing documents for your records, retain all warranty booklets, any improvement receipts you may have to your new home. So that way, when they're ready to sell it in 5 years, they've got all receipts for any improvements they've made. For homestead, I usually email them at the end of the year anyway, a copy of their settlement statement as another reminder, right? But this is really just an overview of what they can expect and what the attorney's responsibilities are on that closing day. This is super beneficial for first-time home buyers, especially. Okay. And that's it. And with that little bundle, you get some extra things in there. But in any case, That's the process. That's the high level overview of all the pieces that happen from once you're under contract to once you're closed. And look, the job starts for us as agents once we get the contract, right? It's not finding the house and getting it under contract. Heck no, that's easy, right? It's all the negotiations and all the things that happen in between that time. That's where our value's at. Right. And it's our job to keep that process smooth and clear and looking good and keeping it easy for our buyers, building the rapport and the relationship with those other listing agents and all the things that go with that. Because remember, that buyer is worth 5 future referrals. Right. And so you want to give them that expert, that expert service, that awesome, phenomenal experience of buying a home. And it's just giving them the one little slither of information at a time, not to overwhelm them, right? If you found this video helpful, will you please give the video a like? I would greatly appreciate it. Consider subscribing if you haven't yet. I'm going to be doing a really good giveaway once we get to the 1K. And then this is going to follow up with our seller. The next video will be the seller contract to close. So we'll look at the seller and the listing side of things. But I'm really excited. And yes, I do talk about templates on this channel and templates that I built for real estate agents and other small business owners and things like that on my Etsy shop. And so I try to keep them, affordable and reasonable and not super crazy or anything, you know what I mean? But it does help kind of pay me back for some of my time and putting it together. So, if you want to go purchase that, I'd greatly appreciate that. But if you want them for free, I got a little giveaway option on my website. I'll leave that below, but just go register because I give away one agent or somebody in the real estate business will win $40 in my Etsy shop. You can go buy whatever you want for $40. Okay. So most agents seem to love that. So I do offer that. So just throwing that out there. I'll leave that link below as well. So if you want to register for the giveaway, you can definitely do that. But without further ado, there's nothing left for us to do but get out there and get it. I will see you on the next video. I thank you so much for tuning in and love you so much. Have a great, wonderful, blessed day. Talk to you later. Bye.